And that's where Richie Larry's algorithms are really important. And we've been able to measure, and you'll hear this again, with standard benchmarks, SPC, a dramatic increase in performance while using a ratio that's, I don't know, was it 4 or 5 to 1?
Yeah.
4 or 5 to 1. So 4 or 5 times as much HDD. I mean, there's some general rule that Ken Bates quotes that says something like, is it 80 or 90% of the IAPs go to 10% of the capacity. And so the trick is, how do you, over a reasonable period of time, how do you migrate the data from the slower drives to the faster drives in order to see the boost in performance? And our measurements show that we have achieved that. Because the algorithms that we have, Richie Larry's really an expert at some of these very complicated algorithms to make things really work. I've been working with him, for instance, on RAID 6. The hardware will generate the proper parities for you. RAID 6 has 2 parities so that you can lose any 2 out of, if it's 4 plus 2, any 2 out of 6 drives, if it's 8 plus 2, any 2 out of 10 drives, and still recover the data. And there's a tricky part to recovering that data. There's some complex Galois field mathematics, and Richie wrote that up in a couple of days for me, and I've been implementing that off of his notes. He's just a whiz at these kinds of things, and so it's his algorithms that really are the difference, I believe, between what our competitors do and what we do, in that we can discover that fast storage and do it in a reasonable amount of time such that your performance actually increases as opposed to being theoretically increased. Now, of course, if you put everything as pure SSD, you have a much more expensive solution, and then the IT person has to decide, well, okay, so I bought that much capacity, what do I put on it? And we're solving that problem for the customer without them having to worry about what capacity goes on the SSD and what capacity goes on the HDD.